Greetings, this is Scotty Reade with a Black Talk Radio News Report. Fox News is reporting that according to a Monmouth poll that was recently done, American voters appear sharply divided over whether or not the sexual assault allegations against Joe Biden levied by a former staffer by the name of Tara Reade are credible. I have to say I fall among that category. The reasons why I've stated in past podcasts, and she just seems very, very credible. Then you have her story being corroborated by several other witnesses, and you even got her mother calling, who has passed away in 2016, I think. But anyway, she called into Larry King around the time that it happened. These aren't just coincidences. The neighbor coming forth, the brother coming forth, another Senate staffer at a different office, all told how this affected Tara Reade, and that she mentioned it to them, what had occurred to her while she worked in that office. So I find her to be very credible. If this was a civil trial and she was suing Joe Biden, as I stated before, I had to vote on the side of the plaintiff, Tara Reade, in a civil trial case. But this is the court of public opinion, and my opinion is that she's credible. Now, according to this poll, 37% of those questioned in this Monmouth University poll believe Tara Reade, and that's a problem. If polls translate to accurate snapshot of what the electorate is thinking. Of course, November is a long time away, but you don't want to be in an election where 1/3 of the voters think that you're a rapist. Then you got 32% saying that they don't believe the allegations. Now, I would base that off of hopefully them having a lack of information and not knowing about these other people who have come forward. No, there's no paper trail, but I don't think no paper trail is needed in this case. She didn't file a police report, but many victims of sexual assault don't file police reports, and especially when you're dealing with powerful people who can have you killed. Now, I don't want to go down conspiracy lane, but it's not out of the question that people have been killed associated with people in power. And so I can understand her being fearful. And then some of her, confidants telling her don't file a police report while others told her to file a police report. But anyway, 32%, perhaps because of a lack of information, perhaps because of blind partisanship, they don't believe the allegations. And then you have 31% who have no opinion whatsoever. Perhaps they don't follow the news like a lot of other people follow the news religiously, which can be bad for your health. But we certainly appreciate you checking out Black Talk Radio News. So that's not a good sign for Joe Biden. Now, I want to pose a theory that I came up with a couple of days. As as a reporter, as a writer, you want to look at stories from every possible angle that perhaps somebody else isn't looking at it. And of course, you want to be objective, and you also don't want to go too far out of bounds with speculation. But I have a theory that in Joe Biden's mind, I was about to say, make a joke about Joe Biden's age, but I'm not going to go there. But in Joe Biden's mind, people was talking about his mind is slipping. But in Joe Biden's mind, I could see at that time, even at, when it happened back in 93, I could see him getting some information that would lead him to believe in his mind that what he did was not rape. Of course, he's going to deny it because it ever happened, rape or consensual, because he's a married man during that time. So I don't expect him to cop to the truth either way. But I do, based off of some things that Tara Reade said in a Rising interview, and of course she said it in the subsequent interviews that she gave, but she talks about Joe Biden's reaction and how he seemed to be shocked and stunned. But she mentions this person called the scheduler. She keeps referring to them as the scheduler, like a Batman villain or something, the scheduler. But the scheduler seems to me trying to play matchmaker or Cupid or engaging in some very unprofessional behavior on the job. And I'm wondering if Joe Biden was gaslit, was Tara Reade gaslit by this person or persons in that office. I don't know how many of you out there have ever worked in an office and been exposed to office politics and the things that go on when people are in close quarters like that. But I have both in the military and the civilian world. So this was very, very unprofessional conduct. But the scheduler is passing messages to, or I shouldn't say passing messages, because I don't know if Joe Biden told the scheduler to tell Tara anything, but Tara recounts that the scheduler told her that Joe Biden likes her. And then apparently the scheduler also may have told Joe Biden the same thing. And maybe Joe Biden was under the impression that Tara Reade was a young woman with father issues, and as they would say back in the day, was a loose woman, or or a liberated woman, whatever word you want to choose to describe women who are very liberal when it comes to sex, especially young women. But there's older women too, so we don't want to engage in stereotypes. But perhaps he thought she was a certain kind of way, and he was shocked. Those are her words. So I pulled out 3 minutes from a roughly 12-minute interview that Tara Reade gave on The Rising, back when this story just got back in the news cycle, as people have started to take the story serious. But that's what the Fox News poll says, that 37% of voters believe Tara Reade, and I believe her. But my theory poses the question, even if I believe her that it happened, and I do, was it rape? From her perspective, it certainly would, if the scheduler lied to her or set her up when she sent her, or he sent her to meet with Joe Biden with the excuse of giving him a gym bag. And what did the scheduler tell Joe Biden? To go to a certain place, and they would send Tara to meet him for this liaison. I know I'm speculating, but when you hear this 3 minutes, just pay close attention to her words, especially when she talks about the scheduler and Joe Biden's reaction. So let me pull that up.
So the portion that I didn't talk about was the encounter with Joe Biden. And it was after he had said some things about wanting me to serve drinks to donors, that he thought I was pretty and had nice legs and things like that. And we didn't really have that many. There was no relationship. There was no flirtation or anything like that. He just made it clear he liked me. The scheduler told me that he did as well. And it was strange. But anyway, I was doing whatever I was doing in the office, and the scheduler came in and said, Joe wants you to bring this to him, hurry. And it was his athletic bag. It's called a gym bag. And so I was carrying it. And this is where I want to be really frank with you and everyone. I have worked so hard to not remember this anymore, that now that I've talked about it, I only shared it with a couple of people when it happened at the time. So there are spots where I just don't remember certain things, but I remember the assault itself and then the aftermath and the reverberating effects of that. And I was walking to the Capitol, through the Russell building. You go down the stairs, you go down, and then it was somewhere in either the Russell or Capitol, I'm not sure, in an alcove. But we were in a semi-private place. It wasn't completely private. He was at first talking to someone. They went away, and then he said, "Here." And then when I gave him the gym bag, it happened all in one motion almost. And he had me against the wall. And then his hands were down my skirt and up my skirt. And I was wearing, I wasn't wearing tights or anything. And he then, with his hand, went from there and entered me with his hand, and as he was trying to kiss me and saying things to me. So when I tell you what happened, it's hard because everything kind of happened at once, but there were incremental parts to it.
Mhm.
And meaning he was trying to kiss me and I was pulling away. And what I remember of that time is feeling really shocked. I was surprised because there was no real conversation right beforehand. There was no precursor. It just happened. And then when he did that, I was obviously pulling away. And he pulled back and said, come on, man, I heard you liked me. Something to that effect. And that's what kind of jolted me. Like I was trying to think what I did wrong to bring that on to me. And then he looked angry and irritated with me. And that's when I knew it was really, I was in a very difficult position.
There was Tara Reade recounting her story to The Rising. Shout out to Sager and Crystal. I'm a fan of their show. But yeah, so both of them ended up confused. She was talking about, well, what did I do wrong? She didn't do anything wrong. But the scheduler, we need to find out who the scheduler is. Does anybody know who the scheduler is? Has the scheduler been named? Because the scheduler seems very key in this interaction. This was a three-way interaction, communication involving the scheduler. The scheduler is the one who sent her down with the bag. The scheduler is the one who told her Joe Biden likes her. And of course, Joe Biden told her that himself or made it known through his words and his actions as she recounted he wanted her to play cocktail waitress. But anyway, she said that Joe Biden seemed shocked when she wasn't down with it and seemed confused. Pretty much like he, was walking around today, but this was, 30-some years ago. So I'm wondering if Joe Biden, in his mind and from his perspective, he doesn't see it as rape because he was set up and told some incorrect information by the scheduler about Tara, and Tara's going to meet you. She like you. You can hook up with her, in between meetings or sessions or what have you. Have her meet you down there. I'm gonna send her down with a gym bag as an excuse to get her out the office, and then telling Tara these things. So I can see how both of them were confused about the interaction, especially him saying, "Man, I thought you liked me." See, that was a very key statement from her about what he said, and it sounds like how he talks as well. So, I'm looking at this at a different angle than what I see most pundits looking at it. Is the possibility that perhaps they're both victims, and if we don't want to use the word victims in reference to Joe Biden, but was Joe Biden set up? Could somebody have been trying to set up Joe and was hoping that Tara went to the police? I wish he had her so that he could suffer under the Biden crime bill. So, because he's committed many crimes, but I'm not going to go, off topic here. So I'm throw that out there for consideration as a theory. Do you think the scheduler caused this interaction to go down the way it did? It doesn't absolve Joe Biden's action, but it certainly would explain them, because I just can't imagine somebody being that bold in the halls of Congress doing something like that. It's not like, he had the Oval Office where he could shut the door and, Bill Clinton obviously was able to do what he did in privacy in the White House. So, yeah, lots of things, lots of variables to consider. I'm not a Joe Biden supporter, not going to vote for him. Probably going to vote Green Party, try to help the Green Party out for future elections. I can't vote for Joe Biden. As a black person, I have to show some self-respect. As a person who believes in justice, I have to show some self-respect and not reward this man for the legislation that he has passed. And the only personal thing I hold against him is his personal friendships, as he described some of these racist white supremacists, avow up front with it, not trying to hide it. And he utilized Strom Thurmond. Um, yeah, eulogized Strom Thurmond. I think, didn't Strom run as a Dixiecrat? Talking about I forgot what the slogan of the Dixiecrat was. But Strom Thurmond, I tell you, man, that was, I'm surprised. I'll be surprised if he wasn't secretly a grand wizard or dragon or whatever these titles they have for the Klan. But, his personal relationships with people like that, and then you want to act like, I'm just neutral, and no, Joe. No, Joe. I think you practice racism. I certainly know that your policies have had great impact or detriment on this country in so many different areas, like debt, student debt, mass incarceration, which is prison slavery, and so on and so forth. So please continue to support the production of independent media. The Black Talk Media Project, a North Carolina-based nonprofit, surely needs your tax-deductible donations today so that we can maintain media operations like BlackTalkRadioNetwork.com. Your contributions support all the programming and podcasts in digital radio stations that you hear on the network. Y'all be safe out there during this coronavirus or COVID-19 pandemic. Real quick, I just saw a news item about COVID-19 has now mutated. So any work that they was doing on any kind of vaccine, it's all for naught, because now the virus has mutated. So people continue to protect yourself. Please, I can't stress that enough. As a person who has a family member who succumbed to the COVID-19 disease, or aunt, may she rest in power. But yeah, take it serious. Wear your face mask when you go out in public. If you have the gloves, wear the gloves. You can make makeshift masks with cloth or a bandana or something. You don't have to have a surgical type mask or whatnot. And wash your hands frequently, especially you go outside touching things and what have you. And don't touch your face. Those simple rules, and hopefully you can survive this. All right, this has been Scotty Reade. Peace and blessings to all. Be safe out there.